Good. All right. Caleb, you talked about from the last couple of games, you thought you would learn something about the team in these last couple of games. Any positives to take away from the way the season ended?
Yeah, first of all, I want to congratulate Inter Miami. In my opinion, it's the most talented roster in MLS history. And they have two of the best, 1-2 strike duos in MLS history, in my opinion, in Messi and Suarez. And they have a wonderful coach in Tata Martino. So I want to congratulate them on the win on a historic season. I do want to thank my players for all they gave this year. Obviously, didn't go the way we wanted. But I still appreciate the work that they gave, every single one of them. And I want to thank my staff as well. There's a lot of work that's been put into this 10+ months. And yeah, there's been things that weren't good enough, but I still appreciate all the players and all the staff, the work that they put into this season. And I do think it'll pay off. This was another game where I felt like we're in the game. I felt like we had a good plan. I felt like we're executing really well. Up 2-0, could have been 3-0. And we were disciplined, we were organized, we were compact, we played in transition. Everything was going the way we wanted. But Miami's a team that, when they're struggling, they've got world-class players that can change the game in a moment. And Suarez in that first half pulled off 2 plays. They were individual plays where he created for himself. And, that was what they needed to really turn the momentum. In saying that, I felt like we started the second half well. We had a great chance to go 3-2. And then they sub on the best player in the world, the best player, in the history of our sport. And, he's made many defenders and many teams look bad. And, I've seen all season long, Miami and those 2 players, Suarez and Messi in particular, I've seen them do time and again what they did to us today. It's unfortunate the way it went, but you just saw the best player in the history of the game come into a game in over 30 minutes he got 3 goals and an assist. And the first touch is case in point. It's just the perfectly weighted ball in behind the line. And so they're a very good team. They're very complete. They've got a great coach. And they've got good young players as well. But those 2 players, Suarez and Messi, that's the reason that, they were able to have the season that they had. And, today was kind of the example of why they were so good this year. So hats off to them. We enter now the off season immediately. We're going to need to address some things. I think we have a very good core to build from. I thought Yusuf was one of the best players today. You can see a signing like that, what it'll do. Langoni as well, I thought was excellent. We just need a few more of these types of pieces, guys that have athleticism, guys that have talent, guys that have a good mentality. There's going to be some hard discussions for sure and some decisions to make. But I believe we have a very good core to build from. I think we have a very good staff as well. And, I expect next year to be a much different year. There were signs this year that we were on track, that we were right there to break through. We just didn't get that breakthrough. And we have to obviously dissect it all and correct everything. And there's changes to be made for sure. We have to play better, coach better. We have to be better in certain departments as well. But even today, you see signs of how we're getting closer. Up 2-0 against, the again, the most talented team in the history of the league, in my opinion. We're up 2-0 and could have been 3. So, you know, some people will, you know, think it's a broken record, but I believe that we've got a great core to build from and that we're going to hit the ground running, and it's going to be a completely different year next year.
All right, we will go to Hayden Bird next, followed by Sam Minton. Hayden, you're unmuted now.
Hey, Caleb, I guess just what do you see as kind of the biggest issues for you guys defensively? I know that's kind of been a struggle for most of the season. And do you think it's in some ways not necessarily all on the defense, that it's partly a coordination thing between defense and midfield? I guess, how do you see that?
Yeah, I think today, you know, is a great example. We were very disciplined. We were organized. We defended, you know, in a compact way. They had trouble breaking us down. They had trouble getting chances. And then in transition, we were dangerous. We scored 2 goals. But when we went down 2-1, you know, obviously the first goal changes a lot because it's 2-0. Now they score a goal. You know, it's Suarez pulling off a play. You know, I think today it was 2 world-class players pulling off some amazing plays. But in other games in particular, you know, we've been stretched and not disciplined for long enough periods. And, you know, today at 2-1, that was the case as well. You know, we give up a goal, and instead of just getting back in our lines and in our block and being, you know, compact again like we were to be up 2-0, we now get overeager to press, and we're stretched and not connected. You know, I do think we need to get overall more athletic. You know, this league, with the talent of players that teams have, especially in the attack and the explosiveness that teams have, you have to have explosive players to be able to track guys and defend in large spaces, even if you are drawing your lines a little deeper. You know, an explosive, quick, dynamic, smart player, you know, is going to open you up if you're not able to cover ground. So I think we need to get a little bit more athletic. We need some pieces for sure at the back. And yes, we need to continue to work on our discipline and our organization defensively. I think there were games where we were very, very solid at that. And there were games where we were for periods, but then we weren't able to sustain it. And we've got to continue to work on that discipline.
Sam, you're unmuted now. Sam?
Hello, Caleb. Just kind of wanted to ask also too, kind of transitioning to the attack. Obviously, you know, on the wings you had Luca, like you mentioned, and also Dylan Barrera was able to cause a goal, but it seemed like Giacomo was given some chances, wasn't able to convert. So I guess just overall, how do you kind of unpack the attack's performance tonight?
Yeah, it's difficult, you know, because again, I've said it, there've been some games where we've not put our striker in a position to score. But I thought today was a game actually where we got guys in great spots to score. And there was a moment in particular in the first half where we should have scored to go up 3-2, you know, and I just couldn't help but think, you know, Suarez on one end, you know, does what he does, and then on the other end, you know, he created the goal, 2 goals for himself, you know, and feel like we need more of that, you know, at times. You know, we know what we've got in Giacomo. He's a box striker. We're going to need to put him in good spots. But then when we do, you know, he needs to finish. And that chance in particular at 2-2, that has to be a goal. And then there was another very good chance that I thought he had at 2-2 in the second half. It's a header, and you know, maybe it's a tough angle, but you know, I still think those are the goals that he has to score in his style of play, you know, and his strength, skill set. So, you know, we have to evaluate that. Obviously, you know, he's got 9 goals on the year, you know, and played quite a few games. So, you know, I've always felt in this league, you need 15 minimum to have a shot. And so we're below that. And it's not just him. We need to get more goals out of you know, the wingers, obviously Luka, I thought, you know, with this short amount of time he's been here and you know, being thrown in immediately, the deep end in our league, you know, I thought he performed very well in terms of production, and, you know, he's going to be a very nice piece for us. And I believe he'll get goals like he showed tonight. You know, Ejmir has a lot of upside and nice, you know, moments. Scored a couple goals, but he's got to produce. I always feel like the wingers, you got to get 5 to 8, you know, out of each winger. So you start to add up the math of 5 to 8 on each wing, and, you know, 15 to 18 minimum in the striker position. You know, we weren't nowhere near that. So we've got to produce more goals to give ourselves a chance. And then, you know, defensively, like Hayden said, you know, we gave up too many goals as well. So I think it's little things, you know, obviously personnel will help. You know, maybe we'll stop the lights from going off here every. But, you know, I guess the lights are off on our season too. But yeah, I think the boxes for me, you know, we need to add some personnel there to help.
All right, last question. We'll go to Seth. Seth, you're unmuted now.
Hi, Coach. Thanks for taking the time. You mentioned Yusuf and Langoni a few times now, and they look pretty sharp today. You go into your third transfer window here. How confident do you feel like now that you've been here that you're able to bring in the pieces to kind of get you to that next level next season?
Yeah, very confident. You know, I know what we need. And, you know, in some cases we've had to work around things. You know, that's just the nature of coming into a team where there are players there that, you know, were signed before you got here. They have contracts that are guaranteed. You know, there's some guys that have options. There's some guys that still have guaranteed contracts that we're going to have to still work around in some way, shape, or form. But we've freed up some cap. We know exactly what we need. In my view, I know exactly what we need in order to be, you know, more of a contender. And so now it's a matter of continuing to make good decisions now with regards to who comes back, who's in the core, who do we think we can count on, has the right mentality, can perform to the level we need in our system. We have good evidence over the course of a whole year to make good decisions. And then from there, with the cap that we have and the cap we freed up, we didn't nail the targets. You know, like Luka, like Yusuf, Will Sands. You know, these are signings that we feel we nailed. You know, I still believe in Alias, you know, as a great piece, a goalkeeper. He needs more help. You know, Arriaga, frankly, needs to be more consistent. You know, I felt the end of the year, maybe it's, you know, being with Ecuador and being in and out. You know, but for sure he's, you know, he's a guy that at his level is good enough. But defensively, you know, he's going to have to be a bit more consistent. You know, but we've got cap freed up. We know what we need. We've already had discussions, Kurt, myself, Chris, and Remy, and the work begins, you know, today. And you know, the players get an off season, the coaches and front office don't. And I'm excited to get to work, get in the war room. We're going to meet with the players Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There'll be some hard decisions and some hard conversations, but I do believe we have a great core, and I believe in our front office collectively with myself that we'll make the right decisions, and we'll be able to get players like Yusuf and Langoni that will continue to make us better and get us to the level we need to get.
That's all the questions we have for you, Caleb. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys.